It's 6 p.m. I'll declare the meeting of the 25th of the 2nd, 2025 open. I'd ask you to stand for the prayer and acknowledgement. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the peace and beauty of this area. Direct and prosper the deliberations of this council for the advancement of the city and the welfare of its people. Amen. We'd also like to acknowledge the Noongar people, who are the traditional custodians of the land. We'd also like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Mr. CEO, record of apologies and leave of absence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. We have a number of apologies there recorded there on the screen. I'll just note that apologies from Councillor McLaren, Councillor Leonetti and Councillor Brough, and then we'll also consider leave of absence under item 8 of the agenda, Mr. Mayor. So just draw your attention to that those particular councillors have also requested under item 8 a leave of absence, and we'll deal with that then.
Thank you. Disclosures of interest.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No disclosures have been received at this point in time. I'll just put it to you, elected members, staff that are present. Anyone wanting to make a disclosure this evening? No disclosures. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Reports of members. Let's start with you, Councillor Sutton.
Look, it seems to be a long time since we had a meeting, and I guess it is, but in that Christmas, New Year break, it was nice to actually go and support a couple of persistent groups. One was the Wellstead, the opening of the Wellstead bowling greens under lights. Fantastic. They've worked long and hard for it, and they've made many representations to us. Finally got it. And the commitment from Beck Stevens for the tennis club, I think it's stage 2 for the courts and facilities. So just goes to show again, like Paul with the trails, you've got to be consistent and persistent, and you'll get something in the end, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Chahal.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In brief, it's been a while since we've been here, but it's been good to probably recharge batteries, I suppose, over the break. A couple of things I would like to mention this evening is the situation with bushfires. Of course, summer period is fire season, and I did go to a handover, I guess, of 2 new light tankers that Young Siding and Bornholm Brigades received a couple of weeks ago. They're pretty impressive, and 2 more I think were received for the northeast sector. So 4 new light tankers have been received by the city, which is really nice recognition that we need them and upgrading older equipment. And thanks to Matthew, just a few stats on our fires. We've had in the fire season, since the 1st of July, 68 fires in the City of Albany. 20 of those are large, and certainly the Many Peaks one was one of those large ones in over January. 20 large and 48 small ones, which were put out pretty quickly. Also a big fire at Sandpatch, which really stretched crews, and the cooperation between City of Albany volunteers and our emergency services team and DBCA is really one that is worth noting, and we really need to be on our guard and cooperate as much as we can. Those figures are down from last year, but content warning, fire season's still got a long way to go, and so from all those points of view, let's hope for the best, fingers crossed, but we've certainly got good gear. We've got apparently 766 volunteers, so we thought it was a few more, so I really would encourage all of us, I suppose, listening here or listening online, to actually think about volunteering for bushfire brigades. We need more women, we need more young people. There's 8 juniors and cadets in brigades around the place. We really need young people to actually step up, because as we all know, the rural communities are ageing. And while on the topic of rural communities and community associations, it's a bit sad to note that the Frederickstown Progress Association is going to pull up sticks and fold, and that's a long-standing association. from inner city with the lack of, well, the dropping of the ward system, I guess, from our administrative structure. That's one of those reasons they don't see that they've got a role anymore to play, which is sad. I guess in the inner city terms, there's going to be more friends groups for various aspects coming to the fore. So we'll probably see more of that. But it's sad that a community association is folding, but the rural associations are really important, I think, to keep rural communities together. So I'll just put a plug in for the rural roadshows that are coming up in the next few weeks at, where are we going, Green Range, Napier and Redmond over a couple of weeks to try and encourage as many people as possible to get to those rural roadshows, because we put a lot of effort into actually doing those and actually finding out, and Councillor Grimmer might say something about that as well, finding out what's going on in rural communities, not just about roads, but also about rural halls, and in terms of the maintenance of those halls and the calls on volunteers and the calls on the funds of volunteers as well. And so from all those points of view, I hope the city will support a bit of an increase in insurance premiums for rural halls in the next budget as well. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Baiju.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, it has been a while since we've had a council meeting and a lot's gone on, but it was also, pretty good to regroup. So in addition to the usual suite of committee meetings and workshops and things, the highlights or the important events I'd like to reflect upon was really great to be able to attend the official opening of the Tennis Centre Hub, and that was a real achievement for the city and all of our partners with that one. So it was one of the many great events. January 26th, the citizenship ceremonies and awards held at Binnalup. Congratulations to all our recipients. It's a really important thing to recognise the achievements of individuals and, of course, to welcome new citizens who are choosing to join up to be Australians, but here in Albany. On the 30th, the Albany Chamber of Commerce and Industry partnered with the city for the sundowner here in the civic rooms, and that again was a great event, and to show our support for the business community and to hear the issues that some of the business owners have. Also, we had the presentation on good access. Good access is good business, and a very timely information and a good reminder about inclusivity can be for all members of our community, including those with some issues around mobility and needing a full range of how we can ensure that they have access. So whether it's those who are hard of hearing, disabilities of any sort, there's always room for us as a city to be leading the way, ensuring there's inclusivity. We had on the 6th of February, the annual meeting of electors. That was a very concise event. It was all over in a very short time, and we like to think that in accepting the annual report and having very few questions about that, there must be general consensus that the city's doing a great job. So that was a good event. I was honoured to attend the ADF service hosted by the RSL, so up at the fort, so recognising 50 years of the Australian Defence Force. And so it's really good to have a contemporary mode to recognising what our servicemen and women are doing. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to attend the opening night of the Pride Festival and the exhibition by the Huxleys, being, Fantastic Voyage. It was really thrilling to see our town hall being used for a range of events. I know the tech crews there were really excited about the new lighting, some of the other tech, and looking forward to the replacement floor and lift. And it's, again, a fantastic building in the centre of town and is able to be used for a huge variety of events. Those sorts of things, and across the board does show the breadth of activities and events that local government's involved with. So, congratulations and keep up the hard work.
Thank you. Councillor Grimmer.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Like others, it was good to get a little bit of a break, but since I've been back, I've attended 2 meetings of a homelessness working group, which is a group of different clubs that have come together to try and help the problem of homelessness in Albany. It's getting really, really significant. They told me that there was only 7 rentals at that time available through the whole of Albany, and it's really important that we as a council understand that it is a serious problem and that we should never add to that problem. We should be actually trying to help resolve it. Councillor Trail did mention the Rural Roadshow, and I'm delighted that we're going out to the rural communities to talk to them about a number of issues, but obviously one of the things that are very dear to my heart is the need to improve our expenditure on rural roads. We've got data that shows us that our gravel road network is not up to standard, so I'm hoping that will be one of the outcomes. We had a really good meeting with the Engagement and Communications Advisory Group, and they came up with, through Tammy, they came up with the excellent format, which will mean a number of the different areas of the city will go out and actually talk to rural people. That's a fantastic thing as well, so I'm really looking forward to those. And finally, I wanted to talk just a little bit about a really sad event that happened in our community just before Christmas. One of our much loved members of the community, Reese Brown, unfortunately lost a battle with illness, and this was 10 days before Christmas. And we actually had our first cricket game there next year, and there was a minute's silence for him, and his wife got up and she spoke just how grateful she was because this happened 10 days before Christmas, and she was really at a loss about what was going to happen. And she said next minute, one of the guys, Mark Wild, who's our president of the SWAT Rats, said, "Don't worry, we'll sort this out for you," because she wanted it sorted before Christmas. She said next minute 6 burly guys turned up with a marquee and put it up, followed by 6 more people, burly guys that came in, put up all the tables and chairs and cutlery for the funeral. And the next minute, about a dozen of the ladies came up for the flowers and everything, and she said she would not have been able to cope without the support of the community. So I say to the young-sided community, once again, and I didn't have much to do with this apart from attending. It was a very sad event, but she was really, really so happy that the community contributed in that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McKinley.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The highlights for the summer for me so far have been, I also went to the opening of the tennis centre. Great event. Tennis player myself. I haven't played for a little bit now since contending days, but look forward to using those courts in due course. Also, I went to the Australia Day event at Middleton Beach. I didn't go in an official capacity because I had family visiting from interstate. And a shout out to the events crew. The work they do there is unbelievable. So shout out to them. Also, I took the opportunity to over the summer in January, February, to take my boat out because I don't know how much longer we'll be able to do that. To go fishing in this great region. I took it out to Bremer initially, and then I also took it out locally in Albany. A shout out to our friends in Esperance who are having a hell of a battle with the South Coast Marine Park impacting their recreation time. They're having a hell of a battle, and there's a possibility that will extend to the Albany region. So I'm not sure what the current state government is doing, but they seem to be very anti weekends at the moment. They're taking away our fishing, shooting. What's next? So yeah, thank you, Mick.
Thank you. I hear you bagged out in King George Sound, which I've never been able to do. So take me. I'll sort you out. Deputy Mayor Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you'll be all right fishing in King George Sound and all the waters around here. We'll see. I'd like to welcome everyone that's online. We're live streaming for the first time, so if there are people there, welcome. It has been a very busy period. Obviously, we're in the midst of a state election. There's been lots of commitments, lots of announcements, and you know the combined advocacy of council through the Mayor and the CEO, have landed a whole string of commitments prior to the caretaker period and also during the election commitments from the various parties. Obviously, the big ticket items, which everyone has backed, is the airport expansion or the reconstruction of the runway, which is a huge thing for us. Everyone's committing to not having a desalination plant in King George Sound. Of course, that we talked about that at the end of last year and passed the motion that we did. So it was really good to see all three sides and the Greens as well, obviously, backing us on that. One area for me that I was really happy to hear announced was the Advanced Housing successful in getting $25 million of funding to do their Spencer Park development. I mean, that needs to come through the development application process, which we will no doubt hear about in due course. So I won't pass any judgment or anything on that because I can't. We need to assess that when it comes to us. The structure plan for McHale North, both I think government and opposition going forward with that and committing to funding that. There was a hospital expansion the other day which was announced. I think everyone's talking about headworks, so we've been campaigning very heavily on headworks for water, sewage and power for developments to Yakima North and McHale North. And then there was also announcements for Nashers and Spencer Park District Education Support Centre, which was really, really helpful. And of course, South Coast Highway is another one. And I think it was almost $2.7 million for various bike paths around Albany for the next 3 or 4 years. Australia Day Festival, the Midnight Festival, as Councillor McKinley said, what a fantastic day. Event staff did a really fantastic job and kudos to them. Special mention to the Community Citizens of the Year, Jennifer McRae for the work that she's been doing on the forced adoption front. Felicity Erickson was a junior nominee or junior recipient. Steve Marshall, who we probably all know with the Christmas function at PCYC, although this last year was at the Ag Sheds. He's been doing that with his wife Karen for many, many, many years and have over 400 people or whatever rock up for that for a free Christmas lunch. And also would like to mention the Two Rivers Garden Group, which is the Community Group Award, and a special mention to Auntie Avril Dean, awarded the Annette Knight Medal for Community Leadership. Councillor Trail talked about the bushfires. The other light tanker was South Coast. I haven't seen that one yet. I couldn't get there that day. One big thing I just wanted to mention, I was very fortunate to go to an event, a very special event at the whaling station a couple of weeks ago when Councillor Beaujeu and the Mayor were at the RSL service up at the forts, put on by Best for Travel. They do premium packages. They had WA Symphony Orchestra Choir, 2 performers from Perth Opera and 2 WAPA students, and it was a really, really special event. There was about 120 people there. Most of those people were from Perth, and I talked to them about the next year, 2026, and the number of events are on, so hopefully they'll do a number of those. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cruz. I ordinarily don't speak, but I am going to speak very briefly about thanking Council for their commitment to give me the ability to advocate on behalf of the Council and the community on the desalination location. So I think it was a fantastic decision to take that move in December and to have the Premier come in and give an absolute guarantee that there will be no infrastructure from the desalination plant in King George Sound was a very, very big win. So I think our tactics were right in that respect, and the community got right behind it. So now the challenge is to acknowledge that we do need a water source. What that water source will be, we've had some conversations with the Water Corp subsequently from the Premier's announcement, and it'll be that there will be a community reference group formed with decisions made by the end of December, but with no surprises for the community or the Council. So well done. Response to previous public questions taken on notice. There's a response in the agenda at the ordinary council meeting held on the 17th of December 2024, Mr Cliff Richards asked the following questions, which were taken on notice. In the event of another directive from our state government to mandate the use of mRNA injections, will the council, in the light of the information it now has, follow that directive and risk the health of its employees and future litigation? And secondly, likewise, would it insist on councillors complying to be able to attend council meetings? Our response is that whilst the City appreciates the proactive approach by Mr Richards in advocating for public health and safety, it is important that these matters are raised with the local Member of Parliament and the Minister for Health. The matters raised are not within the remit of local government. Matters related to the regulation, safety and administration of vaccines fall under the jurisdiction of federal agencies such as the Therapeutic Goods Administration, the TGA, and the Federal Department of Health and Aged Care. Public question time. Now we'll move on to that. We have a couple of people asked if they can address council. Both of you know the drill. 4 minutes, traffic light system. Please indicate who you are and the suburb from which you come from, and the item to which you are speaking. You have 4 minutes. At 3 minutes and 30, the green light above you will go amber, and you have 30 seconds to conclude. So can we ask Paul O'Donnell to the microphone, please?
Good evening, Mr Mayor and Councillors. I spoke to many of you here recently regarding my same request to support the motion before you this evening to agree to the environmental offsets. Paul O'Donnell, Miramar, President of the Albany Mountain Bike Club. I spoke to many of you here recently regarding my same request tonight to support the motion before you to agree to the environmental offsets for the Mounts Links Trail project. As the chosen representative of the Albany Mountain Bike Club, I speak for our club members, the many recreational mountain bikers in our community, and those who wish to have more reasons to travel and visit Albany. I must admit I feel a little bit like I'm taking part in Groundhog Day tonight, as I know many of you must be feeling the same. The mountain bike community got a little bit excited the other night, feeling that was the final step, and yet here we are again. So with that in mind, I would like to acknowledge the many hours that you here tonight and the city staff put together. It's quite unbelievable the work that goes into these processes. The timing for the meeting tonight made me stop and think. It's a long weekend approaching this weekend, and it makes me realise once again that a large proportion of the Albany mountain bike community are leaving Albany for other southwest towns to enjoy the sport they love. I look forward to the time ahead when we'll be staying home in the city we live in and love, and have our friends from other towns visiting us to ride the trails we have here instead. I once again ask you to support this proposal tonight. It has been endorsed by the state and federal environment ministers. It is environmentally safe for you to do so. Mountain bike trails are just trails that people use to enjoy themselves in the outdoors. They are not an environmental travesty, as some people would make out. It's worth considering that many of the young people who would use them will become the future custodians of this environment, so let's give them every reason to value, enjoy and appreciate it. I must also add my daughter Abby, who spoke before many of you recently on behalf of the Albany youth, apologises she can't be here tonight as her Year 12 homework is calling. Thank you for your anticipated support.
Thank you. Henry Dykstra.
Good evening, Mayor, Councillors. I'm Henry Dykstra from Harley Dykstra, Town Planning, Surveying and Project Management. Councillors, Mayor, you will recall that in September 24, and it's about 5 months ago now, Jared Rendell from Acumen Development Solutions, who's here with us this evening behind me, and along with Stephen Jersky and myself from Harley Dykstra, we presented to a council briefing session, and we presented details of opportunities, constraints and planning work that we've been undertaking, exploring the North McCall area. We outlined a vision for a master planned residential community for Albany on this well-located, well-serviced, unconstrained land. We shared with you our belief that this area stands ready to deliver a steady and affordable supply of housing for Albany. And our recommendation to you was to pursue preparation of a district structure plan for this area and to seek support from state planners and state government for this initiative. Councillors, I'm here this evening to first of all sincerely thank you for following through on a vision and planning initiative that I believe will be good for the future of the Albany community, environment and economy. I'm also here to congratulate you on securing from the major parties in the upcoming election a commitment to prepare a district structure plan that is required in order to underpin the rezoning and release of the North Macau land as a master planned residential community for Albany. And I know it took a lot of commitment, courage and collaborative work to achieve this amazing result. And for that, I sincerely congratulate each of you. Finally, I'm here to encourage you, Mayor, Councillors and the City staff to stay committed to the vision, a new master planned residential community for Albany. It's a clean canvas of unconstrained land that is capable of delivering an urban masterpiece of a quality that could match vast Newtown in the city of Bustleton. The North Macau precinct has a similar scale to vast Newtown and would be able to accommodate the whole variety of land uses that make up an urban fabric of a livable community. A village centre with Main Street retail and shopping centre, educational uses, an array of housing types and densities, retirement living options, mixed business, light industry, major road and drainage networks, and landscaped open spaces and community uses. Mayor, Councillors, City staff, thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you my appreciation and enthusiasm for the momentum that you've given this exciting vision for Albany. Please hold on to the vision, continue the collaborative work that you've started, and let's collectively inspire each other in the planning for a new master planned residential community for Albany. Thank you, Councillors.
Thank you. We don't get too many bouquets, so we'll take that. Any other members of the gallery wish to address council? I will acknowledge that there are some permanent residents from Rose Gardens Caravan Park here tonight as well in the gallery. Applications for leave of absence, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a number of applications and they're before you this evening and they are displayed on the screen. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll put it to you whether you would like to ask the council whether they would like to consider these individually, or if there's no objections or questions, the option would be that they could be considered as a collective en bloc.
Any questions? All right, let's assume that we're going to move those en bloc and have we've got 4 councillors looking for a leave of absence. Someone to move that. Councillor McKinley, Councillor Grimmer. Councillor McKinley, Councillor Grimmer. Anyone want to speak against? No? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
Petitions and deputations, there are none. Confirmation of the minutes. The motion is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 17th of December 2024, as previously distributed, be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings. Someone to move, thanks. Councillor Trail, Deputy Mayor Terry, Councillor Trail, Deputy Mayor Terry. Anyone wish to speak against? No? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
There are no presentations and there's no unresolved business from previous meetings. With the, if I could ask the council whether we could bring forward DIS 426, given that there's some mountain bike club members here who'd probably like that dealt with and they can go home and have their dinner. All in favour? Any objection? Okay, we'll bring that forward to DIS 426. Which is Albany Heritage Park Links Trail Project, environmental offset requirements. The committee recommendation is that the council agrees to the surrender, transfer and revestment of conditional freehold lot 172 on deposited plan 222002 and certificate of title 39-257 to the Crown for an environmental offset pursuant to EPBC 2019 8480 and CPS 9182/1. Additionally, 2 conservation areas to be set aside as environmental offsets within Class A Reserve 2682 pursuant to EPBC 2019 8040 and CPS 9182/1. Requests the Minister for Lands to include Lot 172 into Class A Reserve 2682 pursuant to Section 42(3)(a) of the Land Administration Act 1997, and request the Minister for Lands to take all necessary action to set aside 2 areas for conservation purposes within Class A Reserve 2682, Lot 508 on deposited plan 64941 and certificate of title LR 3159/237 to implement the EPBC Jura decisions, EPBC 2019-8480 and CPS 9182/1. And you better not try and amend that, nor you'll be reading it yourselves. Can I have someone move that, please? Deputy Mayor Terry. A seconder, Councillor Baishu. Deputy Mayor Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it is quite convoluted and pretty involved, but nowhere near as involved as the process that has got us this far. As I touched upon at the committee meeting, this all kicked off back in, 2015 when the Trails Hub strategy was passed by council. That was before I came on board, so that was more than 10 years ago. And we have Paul here tonight and Jamie, and I'm not sure who the other guys. But Abby, when Abby was here saying, she's year 12 and she's busy tonight, she's 17, she was 7 when all this kicked off, and my daughter is now 8. That's just, a sign of how long it's taken. And the original referral was back in 2017, so that's 8 years to get the final agreement from DEWA and DCCEEW in relation to the offsets. And I also talked about the amount of offsets that we've given up for the trails that are to be built. The trails to be built, the clearing permits for up to 3.2 hectares or whatever it is, but that's for an alignment of a corridor about 2.4 metres wide by average, but the trails won't be any more than a metre wide. And we've had to give up basically 10 times that as environmental offsets to get this across the line. So we've done a lot of work. A lot of people have done a lot of work. Reams of paper have been used. Lots of time from staff, and I would want to just acknowledge some of the staff that have worked on this project for the last 10 years. First, Samantha Stevens, Carl Beck, who was the gentleman who did the initial referral, and I think the ream of paper was about this high. There's over 500 pages of it, if it was all printed out. More recently, Laura Adams, all the way through, or most of the way through, I think, Anthony McEwen, and of course Paul Cammons is ED in that area. I'd also like to acknowledge a lot of work and advocacy by various people involved in the mountain bike community over the last 10 years and before. Firstly, Dave Marshall, who was the president way back then in 2015. Chris Idle, Brett Del Pozzo, Paul O'Donnell, who's here, and currently Dora Adeline, and there's probably a couple other people there that I might have forgotten along the way. So it's been a long process. I think I've called it the Grand National Steeplechase, and we're at the last hurdle. I sincerely encourage everybody to agree with this so that we can get on with the work, so that Mr. Cammons can get the paperwork back to DCCEEW, whatever they're called, and get on with it so we can get the tenders out and we can start constructing it later this year, in spring, summer, and hopefully by this time next year there's something that when we come to March long weekend next year, Paul O'Donnell and Jamie and all those guys don't have to go to Nunnup or Pemberton or Dwellingup or wherever, Collie. They can stay here and spend their money here, and people can come here and spend their money here. And yeah, thank you.
Councillor Bajou.
Just briefly, because there's not a lot more that I need to add to what Deputy Mayor Terry has already said. It has been a complex project, and I would suggest that it's not a steeplechase and the last barrier. It's actually a really important milestone, so that's just my view on a really positive, but very delighted that we're at this point, and it allows the next significant step forward. We've heard and we understand that there are economic benefits in terms of tourism, there are health and community benefits. Importantly, we've got the reassurances through that really complex process to get the clearing permit and the associated offsets, and that's what tonight's resolution is about, is proceeding with those offsets. So yeah, it's an important milestone, and yeah, I fully support that we adopt this recommendation.
Thank you. Any speakers against? Councillor Trail.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not necessarily against the motion, but just really to say a few words and give other people the opportunity to speak if should they wish to. Yeah, this has been going on for an awful long time, long before I came on council, and just really want to put in a word for the walkers, because back in 2015, 2016, there was a lot of conflict between walkers and bikers, and really it looked like it was really unsolvable. You know, Ukraine and Gaza were easy compared to that, but we've worked through it, and I think it's a good solution because I believe that having properly constructed trails for mountain bikes and also for walkers, separating and segregating those two groups should give us all a chance to actually coexist successfully. It's a beautiful piece of bushland. We're just so lucky in Albany to actually have that as a reserve and so close to town. So from all those points of view, I think we've worked our way through that. Just like through you, I'd like to apologise to the mountain bike, Paul, and your colleagues there at the committee meeting that I was chairing. I should have actually pointed out the fact that you weren't quite over that hurdle yet. But with any sort of luck, you might be in a little while. Just a point, a historical point, while I've got the chance, is that the lot that we're giving over to as an offset, I think it's lot 172, that 8.09 hectares, am I right? This actually was gazetted as a gardens back in the 1930s, I think, and it's formerly known as Ballston Gardens, and Ballston Gardens was named after a former mayor, Mr. Mayor. He didn't have a great record. He was the mayor who actually was wanting to blow up Dog Rock and improve the traffic flow. But despite that, we did name gardens after him, and one of his descendants has been in touch with council in recent years, and I've had correspondence and conversation with him. And I think we have agreed to actually acknowledge the fact that it's Ballston Gardens. So I'd like to think that while we're doing this, we can actually do some signage up there and acknowledge the fact that it's also a pretty historic part of Albany, and it's going to play a really important part in our offset for these trails to go ahead. So there you go, that's my opposition, which probably is really an opposition after all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see the negative in that, but okay. Anyone else that wishes to make a point for or against? Councillor Grimmer.
Yeah, very briefly, I'm delighted that this has finally come to being. I was actually working at the city when the trails plan was developed and adopted. I'm originally from a town in New Zealand called Timaru, and we've got a very large place called the Scenic Reserve, very scenic place, very similar, and that they have put in the most magnificent mountain bike trails there. And when I've gone over there on holiday, I always go walking there. The number of people that have been attracted to that has just blown my mind, and it really said to me how important this is. I know it's been 10 years, but I'm absolutely delighted that we've found a way to offset the environment and actually go ahead and have this happening. So really pleased, you'll certainly be getting my vote. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
It's over now, Paul. And you can go home if you like. You can stay. There's some riveting financial stuff coming. Okay, moving on with reports. CCS 686 monthly financial report, December 2024. The recommendation is that the monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of December 2024 be received. Thank you, Councillor Sutton. Councillor McKinley. Councillor Sutton. Councillor McKinley. Anyone speaking against? No. Put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
The CCS 687 list of accounts for payment. The committee recommendation is that the list of accounts authorised for payment under delegated authority to the Chief Executive Officer for the period ending 15th of December 2024, totalling $11,496,095.93 be received. Someone to move. Thank you, Councillor Trail. Councillor McKinley. Councillor Trail. Councillor McKinley. Anyone speaking against? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
Obviously, because we've had a break, we've got a list of accounts for payment to be authorised for January 2025. So the recommendation is that the list of accounts authorised for payment under delegated authority to the Chief Executive Officer for the period ending 15th of January 2025, totalling $7,201,143.14 be received. Someone to move that. Councillor Grimmer. Councillor Bijou. Councillor Grimmer. Councillor Bijou. Anyone against? No, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
CCS 689 Delegated Authority Report, 16th of November 2024 to 15th of January 2025. The recommendation is that the Delegated Authority Report 16th of November 2024 to 15th of January 2025 be received. Someone to move. Councillor Bijou. Deputy Mayor Terry. Councillor Bijou. Deputy Mayor Terry. Anyone speaking against? Put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
CCS 690 tenders awarded October to December 2024. The recommendation is that the tenders awarded report October to December 2024 be received. Someone to move that. Councillor Trail, Councillor McKinley, Councillor Trail, Councillor McKinley. Anyone against? I'll move all those in favour.
Carried 8-0.
CCS 691 Corporate Scorecard October to December 2024 quarter. The recommendation is that the Corporate Scorecard Quarter 2 2024-25 CBP actions and Corporate Scorecard Quarter 2 2024-25 the CEO KPIs for the July to September 2024 quarter be noted. Someone to move that. Councillor Sutton. Deputy Mayor Terry. Councillor Sutton. Deputy Mayor Terry. No? If not, anyone against? Put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
CCS 692 adoption of the budget review for the period ending 31st of December 2024. The recommendation is that the budget review for the period ending 31st of December 2024 be adopted. Someone to move that? Deputy Mayor Terry. Councillor Grimmer. Deputy Mayor Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things. This budget review. First up, Aberdeen Street, the mill and fill project slated for next financial year. Bringing that forward to get the contract underway, I think this financial year, but carry forward to be done in the first half of next financial year. So that's already before the 2026 events commence. So I'm looking forward to seeing that progress. Obviously bringing in the extra $2.5 million for the motorsport park. Good to see Hanrahan Tip refuse income up about, I think it's $800,000, ALAC up 196, and a couple of other things in there as well. one thing that I do note that this is an absolute majority. We only have 8 here, so only maximum 2 of you can vote against it. All right. Otherwise, this won't go through. But please, everyone, vote for it so that we can get on and do what we need to do. Thank you.
Clarification, Mr. CEO, on absolute versus simple majority. I think it's a simple majority tonight, isn't it?
Budget review needs to be absolute majority under the Act. So this is our major review that we're bringing to you. So Councillor Curry is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
But it would be good if we can get further support. That helps.
Right, Councillor Grimmer. Anyone wish to speak against? All right, if not, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0. Something's happened to the mic.
Oh, what happened?
Carried 8-0.
Show of hands again, please. All those in favour?
Oh, sorry.
Carried 8-0.
CCS 693 new lease, Veolia Environmental Services Australia, Hanrahan Road Waste Facility. In your paper, there's an addendum which I'll read following the presentation of this report to the Corporate and Community Services Committee meeting held on Tuesday, 11th of February 2025. Further time is required to negotiate the special conditions associated with the proposed lease. It is therefore recommended that this report be withdrawn from this agenda and an updated report be presented to Council for consideration at the March 2025 Ordinary Council meeting as per the authorising officer recommendation below. So given that addendum, and noting that there are certain confidential aspects to this, are there any questions that don't require us to go behind closed doors before I go to the officer's recommendation? No? Okay. So the recommendation is that this report be withdrawn from this agenda and an updated report be presented for consideration by Council at the Ordinary Council meeting to be held on the 25th of March 2025. Someone to move that. Councillor McKinley. Councillor Trail. Councillor McKinley. Councillor Trail. Anyone speaking against? Okay, put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
Is that giving us feedback? Okay, we're going through a few teething problems with our first live streaming as well, and some new tech. So you can only have 4 microphones on at any one time. DIS 425, the Walga Sustainable Energy Project. It's obviously a confidential attachment to that. Is there anyone that wants to go behind closed doors before we consider the item and vote on it? No? Okay. DIS 425, the recommendation is that the Council approve entering into a sustainable energy agreement with Walga, preferred supplier as per recommendation in the confidential briefing note. Someone to move that. Councillor Baiju. Councillor Grimmer. Councillor Baiju.
The contract does offer considerable savings for the City of Albany, and as part of the statewide, or the opportunity for local governments across the state to participate, I have to say, in my opinion, the WA Local Government Association have done a great job, and what has been presented in this recommendation is certainly worth supporting for the savings that it will offer the City of Albany over the next 3 years. So I would encourage people to support the recommendation.
Councillor Grimmer.
Yes, like Councillor Baiju, I think there are big benefits of this. It's a collaboration between a large number of councils that Walga have brought together. Most importantly for me, it actually gives us surety of the price for the upcoming, I think it's 3 years. And I think that's really important. The way that power prices are, if we don't have certainty about price, we don't know what will happen. So I think this will bring about some savings, and at the same time, it's something that's been brought together by WALGA involving a number of local governments. So I encourage others to support this item.
We have a speaker against. Councillor Sutton.
Look, thank you, Mayor. Look, I don't disagree with the saving. What I'm not convinced still is that Western Power aren't selling the unit of green electricity many times over. So I've asked a few questions on it. As I said, I understand the savings and locking in the price, but when you've got an entity that doesn't seem to be able to tell us how much or how many times over the unit of green energy, i.e. wind or solar, they're actually selling. So that's why I can't back this. Sorry.
Speaker 4. Councillor Trail.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just on the pricing, I think it's incumbent upon us to actually do the best deal we possibly can for our ratepayers and residents. So from that basic standpoint, I'm supporting this. The energy market in Australia is volatile, is putting it mildly. I think we're quite lucky in Western Australia. You just have to look over east and see the chaos that their energy market is running under over there, and prices just seem to go up and up. We've been quite immune from a lot of those price rises, and despite the arguments about sustainable versus brown power, I think that's irrelevant in this case. We know that the prices will fluctuate. We know that the energy market in Australia is one of those things that's not going to settle down, and because it's a worldwide phenomenon. So from my point of view, it comes back to price, value for money. And we can save our ratepayers a substantial amount. We would hope by supporting this that we and the other 51 or however many local governments are going to be part of this will actually go the same way. Even if we don't get the 100%, we will still be saving some money. So from my point of view, that's what it comes down to. It's a basic financial decision. So we can't, as a council, really affect the energy market in Australia or Western Australia. So I'm going to support the motion. Thanks, Mayor.
Speaker against. Councillor McKinley.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, when I hear the word sustainable energy, like I mentioned in the committee meeting, alarm bells start ringing. And like Councillor Sutton over there, there's too many unknowns with it. Are we getting bang for buck? Hopefully we are getting good value out of it, but just looking through the prices, there's not much variation in it. So too many unknowns for me, so I can't vote for it. So hopefully you support that.
Speaker 4. Deputy Mayor Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think what's put off a couple of councillors is the word sustainable energy and a bit of green power. I don't really understand the reluctance to support this collective energy agreement that WALGA have negotiated on behalf of the whole sector, on behalf of 51 local governments. As in the confidential report, it does quantify the difference in that we'd have by accepting this offer or this agreement that Western Power have put to, Synergy, isn't it? Yeah, that Synergy have put to WALGA. If 100% of the councils that have participated in it previously adopted, even if it is a bit less, as outlined in that report, if we go alone, the wholesale price for power, well, just in this contract, has gone up a considerable amount. I won't mention numbers, a considerable amount. The retail market or the wholesale market has gone up more than that considerable amount. And as Councillor Grimmer talked about, we are locking in a price for the next 3 years. If we don't go this way and just go to the open market and deal directly with Synergy, then we're not able to lock in a price, and it's very highly likely that the even more higher price is what we're going to have to pay in the out years, in years 2 and 3. So value for ratepayers' money is what we're all about, I thought. There is much better value in adopting this negotiated collective agreement that Walga have negotiated with Synergy, and we will save ratepayers and our budget hundreds of thousands of dollars over those 3 years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that we can put into our rural roads. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone want to speak against? Anyone else want to speak at all? No? Councillor Bajou, you have a right of reply.
Just briefly, because I think most of the solid arguments have been put forward. It was a comprehensive request for quote and a tender process. The recommendation was that's come out of it has been looked at thoroughly by the consultants that were assisting Walga. There are extensive benefits, predominantly financial, and the modelling indicates that, as has been indicated, will be tens of thousands of, boarding up to hundreds of thousands of dollars that we are potentially saving our ratepayers. That's really, really important. We've participated in phase 1. Phase 2 has the additional incentives of incentivising further energy savings, so battery power, making more efficient use of the energy that we do use across the 11 or so premises that are party to this potential arrangement. It's beholden on the city to continue to show leadership. We're definitely getting bang for our buck. There's no reason not to support the motion that's before us.
That concludes debate. I'll ask for all those in favour. Against?
Carried 6-2. Against, Councillor Sutton and Councillor McKinley.
We've dealt with 426. We go to DIS 427, Planning and Building Reports, December 2024. The recommendation is that the Planning and Building Reports for December 2024 be received. Councillor Sutton, Councillor Bajou. Councillor Sutton. Councillor Bajou.
Just very briefly, it's great to see the number and the value of works building works is continuing to increase, but in particular, the number of permits for dwellings and units over recent months is generally greater than it has in previous years. So clearly the City of Albany and our development and building community are working towards helping address that housing crisis. So yeah, a really positive sign.
Anyone wish to speak against? No. Put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
Okay. DIS 429, Racetrack Precinct Civil Construction Works, Albany Motorsports.
Mr. Mayor, 428.
DIS 428. Planning and Building Reports, January 2025. The recommendation is that the Planning and Building Reports for January 2025 be received. Someone to move that. Councillor Trail, Councillor Bajou. Councillor Trail.
Thank you, Mayor. Just echoing what Councillor Bajou said about December, and also echoing what Henry Dykstra said earlier on. In terms of the building and potential for Albany, I think the building crisis has possibly eased a little bit and stabilised. So from all those points of view, we look forward to reports like this coming up every month from now on. So thank you very much for that.
Want to have another crack, Councillor Bajou? No? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
All right, let's have a go at 14.9 now. Racetrack Precinct Civil Construction Works, Albany Motorsports Park, which was distributed to you with a confidential attachment. So hopefully everyone's had time to go through that. Does anyone want to go behind closed doors to ask questions related to the commercial terms? No? Righto, good. We have a recommendation that the council accept the tender recommended by the evaluation panel in the confidential briefing note and award contract C25004, Racetrack Precinct Civil Construction Works, Albany Motorsport Park to tenderer A. Someone to move that, please. Councillor Sutton. Seconder? Deputy Mayor Terry. Councillor Sutton.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, very briefly, you've probably, in the last 10 or 15 years, you've probably heard me enough of me talking about the motorsport park. This is just another step in the case of many steps, as the tennis people know and the trail bike people through Paul know. It is a long process. This is, it is nice to see that we actually had more than one tenderer, and the tender has got proven history, so really looking forward to this next step, which will lead on to much more use of the track, but not so much noise perhaps. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, it's been a long road to get here. I'm glad we can start to get building some of that black track and be an impetus to get further investment for the rest of it. And I think there was a comment in the last couple of days that if the town of Vic Park don't want the Birdswood track, then if Premier Cook, if they get re-elected, we would gladly welcome the extra dollars out of that money if they want to put it elsewhere, so that we can do that extra, the full track. But in relation to this, as we know, we need to spend some of this money fairly soon and get on with this, starting the first kilometre of the track. I had a couple of questions, so thank you, Mr. Cummins, for the answers to those. Urge everyone to support. Thank you.
Any speaking against? No? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
And can I say to the staff, very well done under some considerable pressure to get that done. Great result. DIS 430, Seymour Nelson McLeod Pathway Construction Budget and Amendment. Didn't realise pathways cost this much, but anyway. The recommendation, one, is that the council amend the budget as follows: reduce the budget for job number 2789 Vancouver Road from 1.4 million to 1.1 million, and two, increase the budget for job number 2465 Seymour Nelson McLeod Pathway Construction from 712,000 to 1,012,000. Someone to move that, please. Councillor Trail, Councillor McKinley, Councillor Trail.
Yeah, just in brief, again, Mr. Mayor, echoing Deputy Mayor Terry, this is an absolute majority, so no more than two of you can vote against it if we wanted to go through. You're right, pathways do cost a lot of money, but this is actually quite a good result. I was contacted quite a while ago by a disabled resident in Miramar around Seymour Nelson McLeod streets who was bemoaning the fact that he couldn't drive his gopher with any safety around those streets, and as we all know, I think it's pretty hilly around those parts as well. This is a good result, even though it's costing us a bit. Well done to the team for reducing the costs in Vancouver Road in Good Beach by 300,000. So good use of that, I think, and the following recommendation also will also follow on from this as well. So from those points of view, I think a good result. The more dual-use pathways we have around Albany for residents, for people with disabilities, for mums with prams, for anybody wanting to use them is a good thing. So I'd ask you to support it. Thanks, Mayor.
Councillor McKinley. Anyone speaking against? No, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
Okay, so recommendation 2 is that the council award contract C25006 Seymour Nelson McLeod Pathway Construction to tenderer B, as recommended by the evaluation panel and detailed in the confidential briefing note attached to this report. Given that it's a confidential item, is there anyone that wants to go behind closed doors to ask any questions in relation to this recommendation? No. Okay. Can I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Terry, Councillor Trail, Deputy Mayor Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Councillor Trail said, I have spoken with a number of people over the years in relation to this missing link between Spencer Park and down to Middleton Road. So it's great that we're finally getting on with the job. It's a shame that that it's costing a lot more than what we had initially budgeted for. But as previously talked about, we've saved quite a bit of money on Vancouver Road, thankfully. And the funding pot is from the same pot, and we need to spend that before the end of June, I think it was. So just moving it from one job to the other is good. And the tenderer, we know they've done lots of other paths and other work around town and do a pretty good job. But I suppose they're putting gold in the concrete, and that's why it's costing a bit more. But it will be good to see it finished, and that gentleman can go and drive his gopher from the hospital down to Middleton Beach. Urge you all to support. Thank you.
Councillor Trail? Yeah, no, you seconded it. Yeah. No, okay. All right, anyone wish to speak against? No, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Carried 8-0.
That concludes the reports. There's no new business of an urgent nature introduced by a decision of council. No motions of which previous notice has been given. There's no reports to city officers, so I declare the meeting closed at 7:07 p.m. Thank you for your attendance.